Hey guys, my name's Crystal Kenny, and I'm in love with creating. All things artistic and imagination involved. I'm an American girl who chased her creative dreams all the way to Paris, France, making a living using photography. This podcast takes you inside the stories of all the artsy folks I've met along the way and gives you that extra push to discover your creative gifts. The desire to create is deeply inside each and every one of us, and I give you the tools and inspiration to find a new way of living a more creative life. This is La Vie Creative, the podcast. If you're an artist struggling with the business side of things, we have the perfect guest for you today. I speak with Leah Alexander. She's another American transplant to Paris. She talks all about her beautiful work as a painter, her retreats, and much more on how to run a better business as an artist. So welcome to the show, Leah. How are you today?
Thanks so much. Yeah, I'm doing great. Happy to be here.
I'm so excited to chat with you today. You left the corporate life to pursue the life of an artist. I think so many people dream of doing that. Tell us more.
Yeah, I came to Paris 4 years ago with my very corporate job. I was with them for 10 years in total, and I had a degree in accounting and a winding path that got me here. But what ended up happening at the end of quite a long time in that job was I looked around and realized, what am I building? What am I actually doing? And I ended up going on an art retreat that changed my life because I built a community of people who were creative, pursuing art professionally or just as a passion. And I was like, why not me? You know, life is short. Let's do this now. Of course, you hear that over and over, but you become confronted with it as life goes on. And I quit my job and now I'm an artist full time.
That's incredible. I mean, that is so scary to most of us because we're like, I got to pay my bills. So talk a little bit about the fears that almost kept you from becoming a full-time artist.
Yes, the bill paying is very real. I'll speak to that quickly because I think that's probably a lot of people's biggest question. I built myself a financial runway. So the way I thought of this was if I can build about 2 years of runway, and it took a while to get there, of course, but if I can make some runway, give myself some space, what I want to do is chip away at it. So I know that I'm not going to be an overnight success. I know that building anything new is going to take some time. So I have a little bit of space now where I can say, okay, I don't have to be a success in the first 6 months or the first year, but I don't want to wake up 18 months into it and be like, oh, shoot, now I need to apply for a real job again, quote unquote. I wanted to build something that let me extend my runway as time goes on. And that way I have a little bit of breathing room.
That was really smart.
Yeah. The other fears that come with it are certainly, I mean, for me, it was about trusting myself and my ability to build something. You know, when you quit your job and you say, okay, I'm going to pursue something more creative, as so many people who've been on this podcast know, you have to really actually build a business and you're actually signing up to be an entrepreneur, which was, I was like, wait a second, I thought I was going to paint all day. Well, not really, right? You're actually doing much more of the business building side. So my corporate background has helped so much with that, but it's certainly scary to figure out how are you going to integrate and balance your business building skill set with your time to create art and make sure that you continue loving the creative side of it.
Yeah, it's a lot to juggle. Like you said, we think we're just going to be artists and just have fun. It's like, no, there's so much more to it. It's a lot of work. So how has your definition of success changed since making that decision?
Well, I think that my definition of success has been very, I would say I've always been a type A overachiever, you know, teacher's pet in school kind of person. And so my definition of success has always been, okay, what's going to get me the A+ grade? And so I have to kind of talk myself out of that a little bit as an artist because art is so subjective. The way that you're seeing other people build their artistic careers it can be very varied. These are creative people, so they're taking different creative paths, and you have to be really cognizant of not stacking yourself up against everybody all the time. So I'm really trying to put my definition of success as how much art can I create versus what's the bottom line. As long as I'm kind of looking at my finances again and making sure I've got enough runway to give myself that space to create, I'm making sure that I can just keep creating and having fun with it.
Yeah, and that's so smart again. Like if people can like put some money aside, make space to just relax a little bit and really give yourself a chance to really try at something as a full-time business. And your paintings are instantly recognizable for their vibrant color, their warmth. How would you describe your artistic voice?
Oh, thanks. I guess I would describe my artistic voice as being very colorful, as you said. I like to create scenes that invoke joy. I want to create paintings that people want to jump into, where you feel like, okay, if I were there, I'd be surrounded by great friends and energy and maybe a really cool song playing in the background. And I can see myself sitting at that table having that meal or buying that bouquet of flowers for my best friend's birthday. So my art is definitely about joy.
And what usually comes first when you're making a painting? Is it a memory, a feeling, a place, a color palette?
What comes first is definitely the camera roll in my iPhone. I think that I am somebody who I'm super visually motivated. So there's not a day that goes by when I don't take on a slow day 10 to 20 pictures of what's going on around me or outside. If I'm traveling or if I'm going somewhere particularly aesthetic or beautiful or inspiring, I probably take 100 or 200 pictures a day. So I'm constantly looking at the world around me and saying, I want to paint that, I want to paint that, I want to paint that. I never have a shortage of inspiration that way. It more pressures me on the other side where I'm like, how am I going to have the time to paint all of these things? I have a lot of natural childlike wonder, and I think that that gives me something always to spur my creativity and keep me going.
And you often celebrate ordinary moments. Why are you drawn to everyday beauty instead of like grand moments?
I mean, if we're not celebrating the little things in life, like what are we doing, right? Again, like life is short, and I think that's been one of the biggest things I've been grappling with. I just turned 40 a couple months ago. I still have a lot of life ahead of me, but what will I look back on and say to myself, "Oh, why did I waste so much time doing that thing when I could have been enjoying these little moments, making myself a nice breakfast, enjoying and savoring a tea in the afternoon, what have you." And to be able to capture that on canvas so that I can really surround myself with it. Some people ask me, like, do you hang your own art? And I know some artists feel kind of weird about that. I don't get it. I'm like, yeah, of course I hang my own art. Like I paint what makes me happy and what uh, invokes a certain emotion for me, and I want to be surrounded by that. So capturing those little moments in paint in whatever medium I'm using is really special to me.
Yeah, I think the same thing. Why not? I mean, I just worked hard on this. I'm going to hang it up.
Yeah,
It brings
exactly.
me joy. So, has living in Paris changed the way you see light and color?
Ooh, has it changed the way I see light and color? Maybe. I think that being in Paris, I'm really in tune with the seasonality of things. Um, I've been here, like I said, for 4 years now. And the first year, I was so amped up just to be here that I don't even think I clocked that like the winter is really dark and really long. The second year I was here was my first year where maybe the kind of adrenaline had run off, and I had like a bit of a seasonal depression for the winter. And I started to notice the ebbs and flows of the light as those seasons go on. So, of course, we're all taking that in. It's what drives a lot of our, what is it, cortisol production, who knows, but it's what makes us kind of as humans tick. And in Paris, it's really pronounced, right? Because it is so dark in the winter. And as we're experiencing right now in this summer heat wave, it is so bright in the summer. So I certainly have developed more of a preference for certain times of day, certain seasons when I like to be outside and taking that in, and then translating that into art.
Yeah, I definitely agree about winter. I usually leave now every winter because I'm like, it's too cold, it's
I
too
know.
dark, I can't handle it.
Same, same.
So, what has France taught you creatively that America couldn't?
I think what France does really well, culturally speaking, is French people are here to appreciate the good things in life. So similar to what I'm saying, they're celebrating the small moments. They're not the kind of work mentality in France is, as we know, very different from that in the U.S., where in the U.S. ambition is highly praised and you want to work extra hours, et cetera. Whereas in France, you're more encouraged to make sure you're taking a lunch break, make sure you're taking 2 weeks off in August. There are laws to support this and laws to support the workers in doing this. And so from that, I'm really trying to adopt more of rest is important and valuable, and our human experience is not about the work we create at the end of the day. It's about enjoying life, enjoying being around the people we want to surround ourselves with, and then bringing that back to my art. It's like, okay, well, so how can I kind of capture that and enjoy those moments, whether it's painting and slowing down and enjoying a moment like that, um, or just kind of being around other people and socializing that way.
Yeah, rest should definitely be celebrated. I had to kind of de-brainwash myself on that one. I was like, rest? Who needs
Yeah, I'm
rest?
still working on it. I think it's a forever task.
Yeah, definitely. It's tough to rest as an American millennial. I feel
Yes.
like
Yeah, and throw in an oldest daughter to the mix. I'm like, I'm super programmed to be on all the time. So it's definitely hard to teach yourself to just turn off and let yourself relax.
so. Has Paris lived up to the dream you imagined before moving here?
I actually, unlike, the kind of stereotypical American in Paris, who, I mean, this has been around for hundreds of years now, of the kind of Francophile idea of, ooh, isn't it romantic to move to Paris? I never had that. I moved to Paris because I had to for work, and I always wanted to be in Europe. I love travel, I love culture, but I always pictured myself more Amsterdam, Berlin, London, somewhere more Anglophone. I didn't speak French when I got here. I studied Spanish, so Madrid was always high on my list. And I ended up in Paris kind of by happenstance. I was super intimidated by the French language. And I thought, okay, well, great. This will be a good immersion. We'll see how it goes. Turns out it's phenomenal. I absolutely love living here. And one of the reasons I was actually supposed to move to London, but my job ended up moving me to Paris instead. And the reason that I think that it worked out even better being in Paris is it is so much easier to develop a community in a place where this is going to sound a little silly, but in a place where you have a common enemy. And our common enemy is, I would say, the French language and the French bureaucracy. So it gives everybody something to rally around. And so you instantly have this community of other immigrants, expats, people who are traversing through, where you can share, your battle stories of waiting at the prefecture, that type of thing. And you're so much easier to connect with people and establish real roots here faster than other places.
Yeah, I say that all the time. I'm like, you can make friends here so fast
Mm.
because all of us suffer through the same things like language and French admin. So it's easy to chat about those things
Yes.
no
Oh,
matter
the
what
suffering. Yes.
the suffering. We are united. So now you lead immersive art retreats. How did that idea first come about?
I actually went on a retreat, as I think I mentioned briefly. I went on a retreat a couple years ago that changed my life. And it was with an established artist who is based out of Austin, Texas. Her name's Sari. She's amazing. And she was hosting a retreat in France. And I was like, oh, well, I'm already in France. I don't have to pay for a plane ticket. Let me hop on the train and go to this beautiful chateau and see if I can still remember how to paint. It had been 15 years since I held a paintbrush. And I showed up and I met this amazing community of people. And again, that was the moment where I was like, okay, but if they can all do this, why not me? And my business mind was also thinking, wow, this is so transformative for me and these 15 other women who are here with me. I wonder what this would look like at scale. And I saw a lot of opportunity in terms of how this company was running it. And I was like, I would do things this way, that way, et cetera. And I had so many ideas. And I came out of that being like, I want to run retreats. I want to offer this to other people to have a similar experience or their own version, right, of what I had and be able to unlock that creative potential. So I left that thinking, wow, retreats are a game changer in terms of unlocking creativity and just unlocking a freedom of being able to do whatever you want, free will, whatever you want to call it. And so I ended up working with that artist a couple more times. We hosted a retreat together, and then I started hosting my own retreats in Europe. So these retreats I have found are everybody takes something slightly different out of it, but it really unlocks something in people that they didn't know they had. And every single person who has come on a retreat with me has been like, oh, I didn't know that I could fill in the blank. And for a lot of them, it's be able to be creative, to paint, to draw, whatever it is. So it's been a really wonderful experience seeing these people kind of progress through the creative stages in a really unplugged, effortless environment.
Yeah, I think you kind of already answered this, but what surprises people most about spending several days immersed in creativity?
I think it's that they can. I think so many people I hear every day. I think I hear somebody say, "Well, I'm not creative," or "I'm not an artist," or "I couldn't draw, I couldn't paint," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, you can. I mean, a child can, monkeys can, like you can just hold a paintbrush. The definition of good is so abstract. And it really truly unlocks something in you. And I think right now in this era of phone addiction and AI, and we are so sucked into our screens, it really changes how your brain works to just step away from being on your emails all day, on your computer all day, whatever it is that you're doing for your job, et cetera, and just giving your mind a little bit of space to breathe will really change everything.
Yeah, I think we need it more now than ever,
Yeah.
which you really tapped into. And you also started the Paris Food Club. Tell us more.
Yeah, Paris Food Club was an endeavor that I started with my business partner, Sue Tanya, who is another amazing creative woman in Paris. She is an author, podcaster, and chef. And so we were sitting thinking, okay, how do we kind of spread our creativity? How do we connect with more people? We were also talking about, AI and everything going on, and how there's this big return to analog and wanting to connect in a more physical way with people. And we were seeing mail clubs pop up, and we were like, what if we did our own version of this where we integrate art and recipes and a little taste of Paris, a little bit of Paris intel, and we send that around the world? And so we have people in, I think, 18 countries right now who we send a monthly mailing to, and they get a fine art print, a recipe, and a little bit of Paris lore right directly to their mailbox. And we've gotten such amazing feedback from that. It's been really cool to see. And we actually hosted our first in person event in Paris a couple months ago where we got to meet a bunch of our members in action, and Sutanya cooked for them. It was really a lot of fun. So building that community, it's something I keep coming back to and has been so important to me since going on this creative journey.
That's so fun. I love it. The mail, too. I mean, how are you dealing with the restrictions on mailing to America? My God. I tried to mail something the other day and they're like, oh, no, you can't send that. I was like, what?
Well, yes, you've struck a bit of a nerve there.
Yeah.
No, but it's honestly there's a lot of misinformation out there at La Poste, and you have been able to mail letters the whole time. They have not actually taken that down. There's been a lot of issues with mailing packages, so that hasn't impacted us. But yeah, I mean, not a month goes by when I don't get a different story from my local little team at La Poste here. They're so nice. They're trying so hard, but man, they are not consistently informed. I'll say
No, it's so hard. I was just trying to mail like a form and I was like, this is not a package.
that. It's truly a sight to behold.
Oh, I
At
can't wait
one
for
point
that
I
to be
went and they
over.
were like, "No, we're not mailing things now because of the Suez Canal." And I was like, but your mail doesn't go through the Suez Canal to go to the US. Like, what
Yeah.
are you even talking about? I mean, it was just truly, it's all different sorts there.
Yeah, it's very confusing.
Yeah.
So, if someone visited Paris for the first time, what meal would you insist that they experience?
Ooh, what meal? Well, in working with Sutanya, who I think is an incredibly talented chef, if they are lucky enough to be here when she has one of her pop-ups, or she hosts dinner parties in her apartment for single women to celebrate their fabulous lives. But if you get the chance to go to one of her pop-ups and have her plantain gnocchi, it is her signature dish. That I would say is a truly unique dish I haven't had anywhere else in the world. And she just puts so much love into it, and it shows her heritage and her interests, and it's a big part of her in teaching anybody to be able to cook and create. So I think if you're lucky enough to be here and have the opportunity to do that, that's what I would say is a do not miss.
Definitely. She sounds fantastic. Oh my gosh, gnocchi, plantain gnocchi. Sign me up.
Yeah, so good.
And do you think artists and chefs have more in common than we realize?
Yeah, I mean, I think chefs think of themselves as artists. I mean, certainly many of the ones I've worked with have, to be able to to be able to kind of put all those ingredients together and kind of meld them is certainly an artistic skill. I was just speaking with a friend who works in the food and beverage world, and she was like, I met this cocktail mixologist recently who can't describe any of her recipes. She just goes based off of vibes. And it's hard to describe, but it's almost like synesthesia, when people can hear colors and see sounds, that kind of thing. This woman has it with ingredients for cocktails, and she's able to put ingredients together based on how it's like kind of like how they sound to her and the colors that they bring together. So definitely there's an artistic element there.
She sounds fun.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, can we get her over to Paris to do a pop-up? That sounds amazing.
Yeah, seriously. That's very like abstract cocktails. So what advice would you give someone who says, I'm not creative?
I think that truly, and anybody is creative, right? Just to exist on this planet, to be able to have small talk, right? You have to be creative. So it's there. It's just a matter of what you're willing to channel it into. I think that, we were talking about kind of being type A, et cetera. And I think that there's a point at which many of us are motivated by success. And so when we're little, at some point, someone was telling me, wow, you did a really great drawing with these crayons. Keep going. And I did. And I took a ton of art classes, and I developed a lot of kind of on paper skill with art. That's not necessarily creativity, right? It's more technical skill to be able to draw and see color, that type of thing. But it was all motivated because of who I am, and I'm motivated by that praise and ambition. So I think there are so many people who maybe didn't receive that praise or weren't in the right environment for it. And one day they put down the Crayola crayon and didn't pick it back up again. But it doesn't mean that that skill's not there. So I think that, listen, if you're not motivated by it, fine. But I do think that there's something really important to letting your brain just explore and doodle for an hour, or paint if you have the access, or experiment with a new recipe, what have you. And the creativity will come. If you are truly at a lack for creativity, look up a prompt, look up put into Google, what should I paint today? And it will give you 100 options. So there's definitely no excuse if you're looking for it to not start.
Yeah, what are some daily habits that help you stay inspired?
For me, it's really the going around and just keeping my eyes open and looking and taking pictures. That's it for me. That's I don't keep a sketchbook. I was actually just thinking about this. So many artists sketch every day. I wish I could say I had a better sketch practice, but I'm like, if I'm going to invest time in kind of drawing something out and building it, et cetera, I see these beautiful sketchbooks. I'm like, I want to be able to put that on my wall and see it. So I end up really going directly from photo, or sometimes from real life, onto canvas. So my daily practice is really, unfortunately, it's the business side of things. So it's, get up, check your email, check your messages, et cetera, and then try to do at least 30 minutes of painting a day. I do not do this right now. I need to get better at it. But once you do 30 minutes, you can go on for hours, but you can actually get a lot done in just a few minutes at the canvas.
Yeah, they say the same thing about writing a book. They're like, just 30 minutes a day. Same with painting. And coming from a business background, talk about some of the business things that people can do as artists. What helped you really launch your business, make money at it?
Absolutely. I think that the two main pieces of advice I would say from business perspective, one is don't overinvest early. And I think that this is more people who have a business background are more prone to this, because we've built companies that have scale, that have systems, that have, we've got 10 different subscriptions to Canva, to our website builder, to an AI agent. We have all these different subscriptions, and that all adds up, and you're not even making any sales yet. You can do a lot with a little when it comes to art. So just start selling via Instagram. Honestly, you can start selling via Facebook Marketplace, via LinkedIn. Like, there are networks out there, you would be shocked, who are ready to buy your art without you having to even have a website. I built a website very early on, and I actually wish I had waited a little bit longer, because I think I used it as a crutch. I think I was like, well, I can't sell anything yet because my website's not up. But that wasn't it, right? Like, I could have still sold. I think I was using it to hide behind for a little bit there. So that's my first piece of advice, is like, just go for it. And then the second thing from a very kind of business background is use your network. Like, these are people who you already know. And I know there's a lot of advice out there right now that's like, if you're too worried about being cringe online and posting your new pieces online, like just block everyone you know and like just go from there. And I'm like, don't do that, because if you do that, you're losing your biggest cheerleaders, and you might feel cringe, but people will be very happy for you. They'll be proud of you. Some of them might even be envious of you because they see themselves going down that path, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It just means that people want to see you succeed, and maybe they see a little bit of themselves in you. So I think definitely lean in on your network and don't be embarrassed by what you're doing. Like, if anything, share it more and more and more. I've actually gotten, I think most of my sales that I've gotten from kind of just putting my art online have actually come from LinkedIn, which has been really surprising.
Wow, LinkedIn. That is not what I expected you to say.
Yeah, it's unusual, I think, but I think most people aren't using LinkedIn as a tool in the art world.
Very smart. Yeah, definitely. And do you think it's possible to sell art without being online?
Yeah, of course. I mean, there are so many different paths you can take as an artist. I am not as plugged into the kind of gallery old school world, but that is still something that's happening from where I sit and what I have exposure to, which is definitely to say that that's not the full picture. What I have exposure to is any business you start right now, right? Like online, social media, that is a free tool for you as a business owner. And if you're not leveraging it, why? So if you want to be an artist and you're not in this to build a financially sustaining career, and you just want to have fun with it, and maybe you want to have a place to show and you go to a gallery, great. But if you want to be selling, you don't have to. But why not use this huge free tool and way of connecting with other humans that's out there? So you don't have to, but I do think that most artists who are wanting to build something are doing that.
Yeah, I think it's great advice. And like you said, like network, like people are everything. You have, this free platforms to sell on, and just like don't, like you said, use a crutch of having to spend a bunch of money before you can do something. A lot of times you don't even need a website, surprisingly.
Yeah, and same thing with people paying for really expensive courses and that type of thing. Like, it adds up very quickly, and I think a lot of people are looking for that kind of like a cheat code or like a magic pill they can take. Because I've been there. Like, I've been to one of my mentors who's very successful online. I'm like, how do I get successful? How do I get people to want to buy my art from my social media? And she's like, you just have to do it. Like, you just have to post every single day. And I'm like, okay, I get it. But, and she's like, that's it. There's no but. You just have to keep going. So yeah, the people want to invest in some kind of cheat code, but I don't know that one exists.
Yeah, like you said, it's all about showing up.
Mm.
So, what's one lesson Paris continues to teach you?
Hmm. Right now, I would say I'm learning a lot from Paris about how to be resilient in a heat wave. That's my kind of lighter answer. I mean, I think that again, with so many things going on that you kind of have to overcome in moving to a place like Paris, which is a bustling city in a different language that can be quite difficult to those who don't come in with a knowledge of it. Just being able to find some resilience and being able to laugh at it is really important. And that comes through too, I think, in the challenges with putting the business together, right? Like, as I was just saying, you just have to keep going. So whether that's moving to Paris or it's starting a business, whatever it is, it's like these obstacles are going to come. And the people who are going to succeed are the ones who just keep going and don't say, okay, I'm done. I'm going back. I'm going back to corporate. I'm going back to the US, whatever it is. So I'm really in a moment right now where I'm like, I see small seeds coming together. Things are happening. Some really great things are happening. Some smaller things are prepping for the future. And I know I just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other.
That's so true. Just keep showing up, show up to begin with, and then keep showing up. I mean, there is no magic formula here, people.
Exactly.
And how would you define creativity in your own words?
So creativity, I think, can mean so many different things to so many different people. But I think for me, it's been about freedom to express myself and freedom to go against what's expected of me. So I struggle a lot, again, coming back to this kind of type A personality I have, where if I'm painting an orange, I want it to look like an orange. But I see these other artists out there who are making these oranges that are so strikingly beautiful, and they don't have, every polished line and every perfect color and the shadows are blue or whatever. And so I'm trying to push myself to be more expressive. And I think creativity is that moment where you're able to unlock, like, okay, how can I put what's on my brain on this paper in a way that doesn't necessarily have to make sense to anyone other than myself?
I love that. Yeah, no, being free and that's such a beautiful way to describe it. I feel like I ask this question to a lot of our guests, and it's a hard answer.
It's hard.
It's difficult. So, looking ahead, tell us what you're excited about and where people can connect with you.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I just announced that I am going to be offering 2 classes in Paris in September. There are only 8 spots. So sign up for those. Those are available on my website, leahpaintsparis.com. And those are for anybody, beginners, more experienced. I love teaching art and I love teaching people to kind of start. I'm confident that I can get anybody to paint something. And even for more experienced artists, I love giving some feedback and critique and even just sharing ideas. So this is going to be a really safe space. So I'm pumped about that. And the other thing is I am just about to announce my retreat locations for 2027. So if you want info on those, again, my website, you can sign up for the wait list there. And then, of course, connect with me on social media, on Instagram or TikTok. I'm Leah Paints Paris, Leah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us today, and I can't wait to see what you'll do next.
Thanks so much, Crystal. Pleasure speaking with you.
Thanks so much for tuning in to La Vie Creative. You can find more information on MissParisPhoto.com. And if you enjoyed this show, please feel free to share and spread the word for all my creative guests. We have the power to help them to keep doing what they love. See you next time.